Hello, beautiful people. Welcome or welcome back. Tisha here, back with another review of season 19. I didn't even get the episode title. You all, this one here caused me to get ready to pour a glass of wine, but I didn't do it. Instead, I grabbed some water because this episode was designed to make the feathered people appear to be better. And I'm telling you now, it didn't work for me. It didn't work for me. Mm-mm. It didn't work for me. It didn't work for me at all. If anything, it made them look worse to me. But we'll get to it. I just need the bird to know, I see you, girl. I see you. I see you. And in watching those two, I cannot understand how the OG3 did it for so long. Because the way that they rolled this thing out, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So Bald Eagle can't be away for more than 2 to 4 days without his little sweetie having a meltdown. But the bird can be gone for what, a week, and it's not a problem? And how is it that Robin is able to help people with their kids when she can't even manage to help her own self because she has to have a nanny to help her do the most basic things like get out of bed? She probably stayed there even longer just to kind of dig it to Christine because she probably thought at some point it would torture her. I don't know how I feel. You all tell me. I don't really buy what Robin's selling, but maybe it's because I'm being, a little too hard on her. I don't know, but I just don't buy it. When being okay, I need to calm down. I just feel like, why now? You've been in this family for how long? You've been a part of them for how long? And now all of a sudden this is what you're trying to give us. But we'll get to it. So we begin this episode, right? With the twins and the kids in Utah. Mykelti is letting us know how rough the night was for her the previous night because of her scar. She had an incision, of course, that comes with a cesarean. And every time she would turn, it would pull and it would hurt. She lets us know that despite that and having to wake up and all those other things, that the bird was amazing, that she spent the night in the closet to help, that she would hand them a baby, take another one, and then go back and lay down in the closet. I don't really care about this information because a lot of me feels like a lot of what she does is for show, and that the crew is kind of helping with this, trying to redeem her in some way, because even showing that she laid on a mattress in the closet, I didn't need them to zoom in on the mattress when y'all can't zoom in on what's going on in her house. So Janelle tells us that, I'm happy that Mykelti had both Robin and Christine there to help her, that she remembers when Logan was first born and how tired she was, how Christine stepped up despite being new to the family and took care of Logan so that she could get some rest. This is the same person that last week Cody tried to tell us that was jealous of the baby being born. So she's jealous of the baby, yet she's offering to take care of said baby so that his mom could get some rest. So Isabella's there to visit too. She tells Mykelti how beautiful her babies are, and all that other stuff. Christine wants to know, how did Avalon handle it? Because she wasn't there to see that interaction like what a lot of grandparents may want to see, because the bird was there. They let her know that it was rough. Christine's like, oh, that breaks my heart. It's going to be important for us to make sure that Avalon has time too. It is. I remember when they brought home my baby sister. There's a 10-year age difference between us. And my aunt was watching me like I was going to do something to her. Meanwhile, I was so excited about her looking like a little baby doll and all that other stuff that I just wanted to keep her to myself. You don't have to worry about me being jealous or anything like that. I've been here already. I just was happy to, to see the little baby. But she's going to need some more time. Christine's like, when is Robin going to leave? She says she's going to leave soon. She wants to make sure that she's home in time for Thanksgiving. So they're talking about the bird. who is supposed to be catching up on rest because she didn't get much sleep the night before, and she walks into the room all smiles. Christine talks to her. The bird lets her know that I don't remember what the conversation was. It was small talk. They laughed or whatever. It was fine. It was cordial. The bird lets us know that her intention is to always have a good relationship with Christine, I guess. I think you're trying to do so in this moment, but you weren't trying to before. They're talking about McKelty's milk coming in, and the bird says that she got them to take a binky last night. Now, when she says binky, I don't know if she meant a pacifier or a baba, that some people call it a bottle, but immediately when she said it, I was like, oh Lord. Robin about to have these boys addicted to the binky like how Ariella was, 4 and 5 with a binky in her mouth. Let's not have this go on to the next generation. Let's cut this out now. Christine's like, oh, wow, that's great. That's awesome. I don't know how awesome it is. I mean, a lot of kids do it, but okay, it's awesome. Christine says that, Robin is there and she feels awkward, but she feels stupid for it. It's stupid that she feels awkward because it's not about her. It's about her child. And I get what Christine is saying. I don't feel that you should feel stupid for feeling awkward. I think that that's your honest opinion. And I think Robin feels awkward as well. What is awkward to me is the fact that Tony and McKelty were trying so hard to throw Robin in our faces and kiss Robin's butt, because even with Tony bringing up how Robin was like a prophet because the kids were fussy, and Robin was like, oh, they gotta poop. I mean, they ate, they're fussing. Of course, that's going to be the next thing in line, but we're going to call it a prophet-like moment, because right then she opened up the diaper and the baby started pooping. Well, if she was truly a prophet, then she would have known not to open it up and just let him finish what he was doing. But okay, prophet Robin it is. McKelty feels like the two of her moms being there, able to work together and work with each other, just shows how incredible their characters are. I will agree that it shows a lot that they're willing to do that, even if I feel like the bird is doing it for the wrong reasons. I do feel like it shows a lot, especially for Christine, to be willing to be in that space, because Robin isn't safe. Christine wanted her children to bond with the moms. That was one of the things that she always wanted with a plural family. So she says that she's glad that McKelty has Robin, because as we heard before, she came in at a great time. For Robin to have been helping out with the babies, I have to admit, it is a good look. But while she was doing that, though, I think that the bird graduated from being a bird to being a peacock, because doesn't she look younger? I don't know what it was. There was a scene where she was talking in the car and she was on camera, and I was like, Robin looks pretty today. I gotta admit it, the bird looked pretty. So I'm calling, she was a peacock in that moment. She goes back to being a bird, but she was a peacock for that little moment because she looked decent. Robin says she doesn't want to leave, that she's enjoyed being a grandma so much. Bald Eagle hopes that the twins being born, because they cut to him. He says some other things, but I don't care about that. But he hopes that the twins being born will help the family be more connected, because he wants to see those babies. Interesting how he says he has to see those babies. He has to see the babies, but he doesn't have to see his other child's babies. To me, him comparing the birth of these kids to joining the family together shows how adolescent at times he is in thinking, because babies don't bring families closer together. Babies don't fix things. Be a man and take accountability. So it's Thanksgiving Day. Cody is excited to be having Thanksgiving with the bird alone, because in my opinion, he can touch and fawn all over her the way he wants to. The bird says she loves her family, but she does miss the experience of having a bigger family. Mary says, I originally was supposed to be going to California. That got canceled. I was invited by the bird, but I declined. I have no desire to be there after all the things that were said, after Cody saying he can't touch his wife and be, loving and affectionate around her. I've decided I don't want to be the third wheel at their house. Mary shouldn't be the third wheel at the house. At this point, you do need to pull away. If it was a situation where everybody was involved, then I would say go. If it was a situation where you weren't at her home, then I would say go, but the bald eagle has made it abundantly clear that he does not want Mary in that home. He'd rather her not be there. So he got what he wanted. Back in Utah, we see Christine. Christine has, I believe it was all of her daughters. I know I saw Gwen and Isabel and McKelty. I can't remember if I saw Aspen or not. Gwen's fiance is there and Tony's family is there, and they're having a great time. Whereas Janelle is in Las Vegas, and she tells us that she's at Michelle and Logan's home. This week, apparently, they're saying their names and they're showing pictures of them, but still, when they refer to the wedding, they're not saying whose wedding it was. Weird to me. We get to see Hunter, my fave, and we see Peyton, and as they're showing them in the kitchen together, we hear both Janelle and Christine say how much that relationship matters, that Janelle is like another mom to Peyton. And Janelle says, he's like a son to me. Christine says, I have a house full of girls and Peyton was the only boy. So when we moved, he was constantly at her house. Even before that, he was constantly at her section of the house, hanging out with his brothers. And that is one of the benefits of polygamy, is because without polygamy, he would not have had that. Janelle says she never imagined not having a big Thanksgiving because it's something that they always had, that there were times where they had as many as 50 people with them, but she's learning to enjoy the smaller gatherings and being around people that she wants to be around. Says a lot. I think there were times where Janelle didn't want to be involved in some of the gatherings, and she, like many others, sucked it up and did what she needed to do. Bald Eagle talks about how it's the 7 of them at the bird's house. He says it's quiet and it's safe because we're all in the state of respect with each other. 10 years ago, I was safe for everybody, but they weren't safe for each other. It shows me in so many ways the dysfunctions of the basics of plural marriage. Cody was never safe. And Cody likes to blame a lot of this on plural marriage. And I'm going to say there's a lot about plural marriage that I don't agree with. But there are some families, maybe very few, but there are some families who seem to have better dynamics, right? Who the parents seem to still be showing up for their kids. That is not what we get with the bald eagle. So him just putting this on plural marriage, this whole episode and the stuff that he says later on gets to me. Janelle wonders about Mary. She says that she was surprised when she heard that she was not going to the bird's house for Thanksgiving. She feels like it's time for Mary to do something different because Mary deserves it, especially with how she's been treated. I can appreciate Janelle caring about her and saying that, but I gotta be honest, even though I like Janelle, these are the moments where I side-eye Janelle because actions speak louder than words. You're sitting here saying that Mary deserved better and all this other stuff. It sounds good, yeah, in theory, but what have you done over the years to assist Mary with better? When your husband was talking junk about her and saying things that he was saying, were you correcting him? Were you telling him to fix it? What were you doing? In the beginning, you were. In the beginning, you said that. But at some point, you stopped. So you sitting here acting like you just want the best. No, let me not say that. I do believe that she wants better for Mary. I do. But I feel like Janelle has had ample opportunities to fix whatever the real issue is with her and Mary. And to this point, we still don't know because it seemed to have gotten worse with whatever happened between her and Madison, but they're not talking about it. So I don't know how to take you saying that she deserves better when what is better in your eyes? But that was me going on a tangent. The ladies don't know that her and Cody are done, and she doesn't plan on telling them. She says it's none of their business. Interesting how that's none of your business, but you got offended the way Christine handled her stuff, and she at least let you know what she was doing. So she says she's just going to, kind of stay put and have a low-key day. Later on, it's the week after Thanksgiving. We find out that Mary was sick. The bird says Mary said that she was going to spend Thanksgiving with her children. And then I found out later on that she was at home sick on Thanksgiving. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's right here. Did you stop and take some time after you found out? Because by the time we heard her, she was still sick. Did you give her some soup? Did you call and check on her? So stop acting like you care. Because when did you find out? Did you find out because Mary told you? Did you find out because you called to check on her? Or did you find out because y'all were filming this show and you were sitting on the couch and they were showing you that stuff and you had to respond to it? Mary says, after the way everything was going, I decided back in April that I would not be spending Thanksgiving with them. Christine says, I don't know what's going on with Mary and the bald eagle, but I did hear that they were separated. Y'all. They then cut to this faker than fake scene with the feathered people. And I'm going to say this, and I didn't say it at the beginning, I will be leaving some of this out. If there is something that you would like to discuss, feel free to put it down in the comment section below. And myself and a member of the fam will get to it sooner than later, right? Because I got a lot to say. There is no way that in 18, now 19 seasons that the show has been on our screens that we've never seen any type of really extremely heated argument with the feathered people. We've seen it multiple times with the other wives, but never with those two. The bird has said multiple times that there are certain things that she feels like she needs to discuss at home, off camera, in private, when it comes to her dynamic with her husband. It should not be put across for everybody to see. So now, after all these years, we're going to get on our screens a vision of the feathers standing outside, arguing with each other or having a disagreement. We get a snapshot on the screen that says shortly before. Y'all are reporting because this is a snapshot. I got to report. Shortly before cameras arrived, Cody and Robin had a heated exchange. What? Deception indicated. This is so convenient. Before the tension escalated, the bald eagle decided to go on a drive. Well, thanks for that. Because they're going to come back and tell us that. Thanks for that. And was it really heated? Because even what we saw outside wasn't heated. What it was a moment to bash the mom some more and the kids. But let's get into it. Bald Eagle said, the bird is upset because I'm not reaching out more to my kids. You know, I was putting pressure on Cody to work on his relationship with his kids, and it triggered him and it upset him. How does you saying you need to work on the relationship with your kids upset someone unless there's truth to it? Cody has not been done wrongly by his kids. He's done wrongly by them. Cody doesn't want this continued rift in his relationship with the bird because, in his words, the rift, it's caused by these people who have created the biggest rift in his life. And I'm not doing that, okay? He takes no ownership. And if and when they watch this season, I'm telling y'all now, this is not going to help their dynamic any further. Because the way I sat there and the way I rolled my eyes at the things that he said, if I were his kids, I wouldn't be able to do it. So she's talking to us and she lets us know that the argument with her and Cody is eating at her so much that when he gets back, she's going to have to talk to him about fixing the relationship with his kids. Now, I guess she can't do it in the house because she doesn't want the other kids to hear it. I don't know, but it's just so convenient that the camera crew is set up and ready for her to come into this, to walk down the pathway with her coat and all that stuff on to have this conversation. It's because it was planned out. It was planned out. It's eating you up so much that you just got to talk to him about the situation with his kids when it's 2 years later at this point. Why now? Why now? He comes back, and even though they had this heated exchange, so they say, it's a, hey, how are you doing? We've seen him completely walk past Wise, but their exchange was so heated, but he could say, hey, how you doing? The segment is not about her being upset with her husband. The segment is about the bald eagle continuing to not take accountability and for him to have a platform to further talk crap about his kids. And then you wonder why your kids don't want to have anything to do with you. He claims he's tired of feeling betrayed and angry. Divorce has brought out things like the fact that he wasn't there when he was there. He's tired of them trash talking him. Even at the wedding, he said there was animosity. Some of the kids wouldn't even talk to him. He thought he was going to go to that wedding and that he was going to have all his kids falling down at his feet, being glad to see him. But that's not what it was, because these kids, they weren't doing that this time. He is so accustomed to getting his way that his ego cannot handle the fact that his children have put up a boundary that they're not going to allow him to cross until he changes, because he is not changing and they don't want to have anything to do with him. It's hard to forgive someone for something when they can't even see that they did anything wrong, when what they're doing instead is that they're putting it all on you. Some of the kids have flat out rejected me. You saw Madison. You saw Madison take her kids and scurry them away. She scurried them away from me. She didn't even tell me she was pregnant. You sat there earlier in the episode, in one of the other episodes, telling us that you don't talk to her because she gossips too much. So why would she tell you, if you don't talk to her, that she's pregnant? It's none of your business. You can find out like the rest of us. Go look at her page on Instagram. That's if you're not blocked. Janelle says, the older kids are upset because of how he's treated the family. Maddie is protecting her kids. She hasn't spoken with him. He has not been to Carolina ever since Evie was born. Y'all, she reminds us that at this point, Evie is 3.5. 3.5 years old, and you haven't been to see her since. That's not on Maddie. That's on him. Maddie wants him to put forth effort. She just doesn't want him to pop up and be like, I'm your granddad, and play. Cody tells us that it's an unrealistic expectation, especially when you move to another coast. But I don't feel like it's unrealistic. I have family that lives all over the world, in completely different countries, in other states, all that other stuff. I have family that right now where they're at, it's the morning time. And guess what? We still see each other at least once a year. Some of them twice. And at this point, Cody probably had more money than anybody to go see him. He didn't put forth effort. He doesn't put forth effort. He says, I still have to work to do in Flagstaff. I can't go out there like that. What work? And if he does, doesn't he work from home? I'm confused. Please let me know what his job is down in the comment section below. He says, they are purposely leaving me out of their lives to punish me for a crime I didn't commit. I am only guilty of not falling madly in love with their mothers. Then on top of that, Madison, she called Janelle and said that I said I didn't love her. I said, sir, did you not just hear what you said? You just said they're mad because you didn't love their moms. And then you say, I didn't say that. Then you say what you just said. So you did say it. You said it on the show. And you continue to say it on this show. He then tries to say that every time he calls Madison to say anything, what she does is she goes and she gossips about it to the rest of the family. I would have loved for them, but Maddie isn't trying to do all that. I would have loved for Maddie to have a confessional moment where she responded to that. Because Madison, out of all the kids, is one of the kids that I truly appreciate her input, because from day one, when she was on this show, she didn't hold back. He claims that he never said that he didn't love her. But this family was killed by gossip. Janelle says he's liking to say that Maddie is the gossip, but Cody is the gossip. He says stuff all the time about Mary and Christine. Never Robin, but he says stuff about Mary and Christine. And he says stuff about Janelle too. Teflon Queen and all that. He says, I'll work and I'll reach out and love the children that will allow me to do it. Why can't you just love all your kids, period? Whether they'll allow you to love them or not, just love them. But we all know his love is conditional. He said in time, maybe the rest of the kids will come around. The bird says, my bio dad didn't do that, and he was supposed to be a father. You know, my parents, once they got, divorced, my mom lived in a different city. And at one point I confronted him about why he wasn't there, and he just made a bunch of lame excuses. Interesting that she's sitting there and she's saying that about what happened with her biological father and her mother when she did the same exact thing that her mother did to her kids. She moved away and she eliminated their father out of their life. I'm not saying that I agree with everything that their dad did, because personally, I don't like the fact that he didn't fight for his kids. But at the same point, there's a lot about that situation that we don't understand. And she doesn't want him to be like that. Mighty interesting that out of all these years, now you want to sit here and tell us this. TLC production team for this show, I don't appreciate you all trying to make us feel sorry for the bird. It's going to work for some people, but not me. She says she doesn't want him to be like her bio dad. Too late. He already is. He's exactly like that. Because she talked about how her bio dad had another family. You're his other family. That's what he did. He said, I text one of my kids and they wrote back a note saying you're a piece of trash. And I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do that with the rejection. He's not abandoning his kids because they've betrayed him. Robin says, but they're kids. He's like, they're not kids. She's like, they're your kids. So now they're kids, but before they weren't. Before they're adults and they're unsafe and they're all these things. But in this moment, you're going to say that they're kids. Got you. Cody doesn't want to talk to them because they want to punish him and treat him like crap. He doesn't want to get on the phone just to have them treat him like crap. He said, I don't want my kids to say, yeah, we want to sit down with you, Dad, and we want to blame you for everything that happened because there's no respect. And she says, I'm having a hard time not feeling like losing respect for you a little bit. Because like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong besides not falling in love with their mothers? Boom. Boom. Stop saying that crap. Every time that he says that, it is a kick to those kids. Whether you love their mothers or not, it does not need to be said. Whether you were in love with their mothers or not, it doesn't need to be said. They are here. You lay down with their moms. You created them. Stop saying that. That is why they feel the way that they feel, because you're saying things like that. It's not right. And you keep on saying it. And he said it over and over and over again throughout the episode. And I'm looking at his bird and I'm like, you like this crap. Because if he was my man, I would have told him to shut up and stop saying it. He wants to know what else he did wrong. Bird's like, but it's two sides. They weren't perfect and neither were you. She's talking and he does what he always does, and he interrupts her and says, the kids are blaming me, or what they're doing is they're blaming you. And I don't need to sit down with them just to have to defend you. What? What? We then get back to Christine. She's talking about her man, David, how they met on a dating site for people with kids. She's been talking to him for like a month. She's smitten with him and she loves his eyes. They went out on a date. She's locked in. He has 8 kids. She told him that she had 6, but she feels bad because she knows that Janelle is not someone that she's ever going to stop having a relationship with. And she's going to have to tell him about Janelle and those kids because they are her kids as well. And we know that she's going to tell him at some point. Meanwhile, we see Janelle, who's in Flagstaff, and she's doing what she always does, yard work by herself. And she says she doesn't want to deal with anybody's roller coaster. She just wants to be by herself for now. Cody was a roller coaster ride. She dealt with that for over 30 years, and she's just enjoying not having to do that, being able to come and go as she pleases, not having to answer to anyone. I think Cody put a lot of stress on a lot of these women. Then back to the 30-minute segment with the Feather Crew. She wants him to call or go see the kids. She wants him to work it out with the kids. But he is now on this kick about how he just wants to protect the bird. And it's not his fault. And he's hurt. And she says, I'm dealing with grief about it too. But she wants him to work on his communication. He says he's tired. He's tired. He's tired, but he's tried. And she's like, you tried? He's like, yeah, I tried. I tried engaging with Gabe and Hunter. But my favorite Hunter ain't feeling it. He don't want to have nothing to do with it. I don't blame him. He's smart. He sees it. The bird says, you got to understand, they're being fed information that is not true and it's one-sided and, they're caught in it. What? We have watched the show. I'm sitting here, you guys are sitting here, and we're upset because we've seen how it played out on the show. And so have the kids. Cody says, well, they could be mad at their mothers 10 years from now when they want a relationship. What does that mean? He wants them to make the effort. All of his anger is because of the ish talk, the sugar honey iced tea talk, according to him. He said he is screwed up because he gave up on love and it wasn't enough. That's the only reason why he screwed up. And you can blame him if you want to, but don't bring contempt. He says, I'm angry. I got to get over with what's happened and how I've been treated. You haven't been treated badly. And if you're this angry when you haven't been treated badly, imagine how those mothers who were treated badly continuously for years feel. The bird says, you need to figure this out because it's hard on us. You say you're trying all these things. Did you try to pray about it? Did you get on your knees about it? And he says, even that is too complicated. That he lost his religion. I got to be honest. I don't think Cody ever had one. I think that he faked it. I think that Cody really wanted to get close to his father. Cody very much so has daddy issues. And as a result of that, he tried to get close to his daddy by doing what his daddy was doing, which was being a polygamist. But I don't think that Cody ever truly was in it for the right reasons. I think that Cody got in it for the adoration and for his ego. I don't think he got into it because of the belief system. Because if he did, I think he would have handled it differently. I think he uses it for convenience. We then get flashbacks of Cody supposedly being there for his kids. He brings up how, no other people have gone through this, have had 3 divorces in 2 years, and how rough it's been. How rough has it been on you? What, financially? He's more distraught by the fact that the bird is losing respect for him. I want to know if y'all really think she's losing respect for him, because I'm undecided. Help me figure it out. Part of me feels like she is, but I think it's because she's seeing some of what the other moms have gone through. She's not accustomed to having to deal with the angry Cody. Normally, he brings the anger everywhere else, and she has that honeymoon environment. And now that the other moms are gone, and now that she's having to deal with him and all the stuff that comes with him, I think she's getting tired. Because look at how refreshed she looked from just being away from him for those couple days. She actually looked nice in the car, like I said earlier. She talks about the bio dad situation again. We never heard this much about him before. I don't want to hear about him now. She wants Cody to see that the kids are hurting. She says the kids get dragged into it and then they get mixed up in their heads. She should know because she mixed up her kids in their heads and she's still doing it to this day. So her giving the advice that she was giving and them continuing to show us this segment was getting on my nerves because it bothers me because Robin is a liar and Robin has her own issues that she should have worked out with her kids and their bio dad. She then holds him in the face and, Cody, honey, yes, your kids need you. They need you in your life. I know they are, angry right now, but they need you. He's like, can you give me enough space with this without losing respect for me to allow me to take my time? And she's like, yeah, I could do that. Then she talks about how there's a lot of misunderstanding there for the things that they've been told. Some of them even thought that he wanted to be there with them, with just them, and that's why he created the COVID rules during the pandemic. This isn't about COVID. I'm so tired of them talking about COVID. Take the COVID aspect out of it because it doesn't have anything to do with this breakdown. The breakdown started when y'all moved to Flagstaff, even before that for some of them. Cody admits that he made 2 mistakes, and I was surprised. Trying to kick the boys out was one, and not going to Isabel's surgery was the other. I do agree that those were some of the many mistakes that he made. He said it created bad blood. The Bird is blaming plural marriage for the division because, he has to split his time, whatever. I blame you too. Because you didn't make him get out of your house, even though you claim you didn't want him there to help get the kids ready. You didn't tell him to go back to their house and spend equal time with his wives. So I'm not trying to hear that. He then says that he texted Gabe while he was skiing because he thought about him and that he got nothing. And Robin's like, well, that's good. Keep trying. Then he says that talking to the kids, though, it triggers him because of their accusations. He's too hot-headed right now, and he feels like it will do more damage talking to them than good. This conversation is more damaging. He says what? He says the place he's been in hurts. Oh, the place that he's been in right now will hurt them more. His heart is broken and he's sitting there with the person that he loves and the person that loves him most in the world. And yet his heart is still broken. What does he do with that? I'll tell you what you do. You shut up and you go get counseling. You shut up and you go put yourself, and you don't need to do the counseling where it's outpatient. You need inpatient therapy because there is something else going on with Cody that is even deeper than this. They need to go back to childhood and work their way up. He's like, in my mind, you react with such sweet emotion, but I react with anger. Interesting how her emotion is sweet, but when Christine and Mary were crying, they were being babies and they were getting on his nerves. He said he had kids that said that he's brainwashed them and he's been manipulative and all these other things. And the Bird's like, yeah, I hear that, but I just want you to keep trying. They need you and they need them and you need them. Because a dad is really important to a child. And that's basically how it ends. All this bad acting, keep in mind that the conversation, as I said, had been filmed 2 years ago, and he still has a strained relationship with his other kids. And he has done absolutely nothing in the past 2 years, now 4, to fix the relationship with his kids, at least that we've seen. And this Bird who is sitting there trying to act like she is now trying to fix this situation with him and his kids is still okay with his behavior, in my opinion. I have a kid. And in dating, if I meet a man that has a kid or kids and I find out that he is not actively involved with his kid's life, peace. Peace. I don't care how old they are, peace. My man has 2 older children and a younger child. And he still is very present in his older children's lives. Just as much so as he is in his daughter's life. He made sure he did what he needed to do. He has his 50-50 rights. He has her the way he's supposed to have her. They have a very good co-parenting dynamic. He still is very present with his two older boys. That's a man. Taking care of your responsibility, whether you work out with the kids' moms or not, whether you love them or not, that's a man. A woman taking care of her responsibility. Let's take gender out of it. A parent is a person who stands up and who's there for their kid, regardless of whatever situation. But he's not a parent. Didn't mean for this to be this long. You all tell me what you think. Hopefully it will upload, because last time it did not upload for me. We'll see what happens.